Hello. My name is NicholassRivas, and I do videos on politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the UFC card that just occurred, the Fight Night in Paris, the historic event. Um, I mean, just a good ass card. What are you gonna say? You had for one a card that I think has been in the works for a while, and to finally see it go through is just beautiful. Um, France has always had or Europe in general has always had a following. I mean, the McGregor era was proof of that. So it's surprising that it took this long to finally capitalize on that. But I know through legality and craziness and COVID, it definitely didn't make it easy. But that being said, I still love the card. It should have been a pay-per-view at this point because it felt pretty good. Not to say I wanted to be a pay-per-view, but it was a good card nonetheless. So just to kind of go down the list, Nathaniel Wood versus Charles Jourdain. I was understanding that Jourdain was basically fighting in July, and then was told about the card, and so basically just said, I don't want rest. Like, I want to fight on this card because I think he has some French lineage. I think he's a Montreal Canadian. So kudos to him for pushing through. But Nathaniel Wood really just proved his precision and his excellence on that fight because he was just precise. That's all he was. He was just more precise, and I feel like Jourdain couldn't really capitalize on much. But it's still a good fight nonetheless. Like I think both guys still proved themselves, and Jourdain, that guy, is tough. Ain't no doubt about that. But it was a good fight, nothing crazy. Then you had William Gomez versus Darno Aarons, which I'm conflicted on. I feel like I liked William Gomez, and I think that last 30 seconds was tremendous, but something about it didn't make me feel like he won. I'm not the scorecard looker, I'm just assuming. He didn't look like he was doing that much damage or had that much significant strikes. Aaron's looked like he did, so am I crazy? Maybe. I'm glad the guy won though in his country because everyone was cheering him on. Aaron's was getting a lot of crap. So I think it worked out for the best for him and the card itself. But I don't know, something about that. I definitely got to rewatch that because I did not feel like he won that, especially with his. I think it was unanimous decision. Then we have Roman Kopylov versus Alicia. So amongst the middleweights, I think people like Did Chirico is fair. I think he could put up a pretty decent fight with a lot of people, but there are definitely leagues to it. Seeing that Rob and Marvin fight, there was levels to it, and I think a person like Did Chirico is going to just fumble in this division now. He doesn't have a good win streak. I don't think he can come back. He looked like basically a different like league of his own, where he's not a league of his own, but like he is not as proficient as the top level guys. Like you can see it very much there. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be very hard for him to come back if he even does. So we'll definitely see. But yeah, it was regardless still a good fight, and I think he did put a lot of heart, and he was going back and forth with Roman Kopylov. And to be fair, Roman Kopylov had a lot of chances to, I think, capitalize on a lot of this stuff that he didn't. So definitely I want to see improvement for both of these guys, and I think that is very much going to be coming soon. But we'll see. Regardless, good fight, but leads us to one fighter who I was very much not excited to see, Joaquin Buckley. After seeing that video of him with Darren Till, which there's a famous video of him with Darren Till. He's being kind of annoying. Darren Till's like, I don't know who you are, and he's just like, let's get this money, let's have a fight. And I'm like, who the hell is this? Like, I didn't really know Joaquin Buckley much to begin with. And seeing this guy like talking to him with Kamsat, I was just like, what the hell's going on? So it was weird, and it left me with like a weird taste in my mouth at this guy. And then he got like butthurt when Kamsat was like, I'll fight you. Like, I know you're fighters, guys, but like, you don't have to take it that personal. Like, obviously Kamsat, if you don't know who Kamsat is and what he's doing, then what do you do in UFC? Like, what the hell? So it was weird to see Joaquin Buckley like that, but hey, it is what it is. Seeing his fight, he really redeemed himself for me, because after that fight with Amov, he really proved himself to be favorable in my opinion. Like I thought he thought he did good, and I thought he did enough to put a lot of pressure on him. But I don't know if he did enough to win. I really have to go through. But that last round, Joaquin was going for, he was going for broke, which I don't see enough in these fights. I know it's a strategic chess match, but seeing people like Jared Cannonier, who didn't put anything in the gas tank at the end of the fight with Izzy, makes me go like more appreciative of what they do, like of what these fighters do when they're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go out swinging, because that's what happened with people like Joaquin Buckley. He just said fuck it, and he just started swinging, and he put a lot of good pressure, and I think he did good. I don't think he did enough to win, but he did some good damage, and that's why I want to rewatch it, because there was a lot of significant strikes where I'm like, hey, where did Amov get that win from? Like I was just kind of like, I was very confused. Not to say he didn't win, but I don't know if it was that definitively that everyone was saying. So maybe I'm in the minority, but yeah, I think interesting fight nonetheless. It made me really like Joaquin Buckley. I don't know if he's gonna go anywhere within the middleweight. Kind of small for his division too, but give him credit for that. And then Amavov, he looked good, but very emotional. Like he was getting mad at him when they were trying to separate them. Like, dog, like put pressure in the fight then, because he was taking his time. And so that's one other thing. Whereas round 1, he didn't really do anything, and then round 2, I think he had some strikes, but round 3, I felt like there was more. I don't know. I got to rewatch it. Definitely closer than I thought. But then what leads us to the co-main event is Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. Obviously a banger. Obviously fun. I thought it was going to be more of a back and forth. I mean, this leads to what I was saying, is that there's really levels to this. Is that Rob really punked Marvin. Like he led him with no room to succeed, and I was very surprised. I honestly thought Marvin was going to win with a knockout, given that Rob, has fought people like Yoel and put damage on himself. He's fought Izzy and hasn't really been able to touch him, even though he's improved, and even though I think Rob was the guy to beat Izzy, in their rematch. I think also too that Rob has advanced and grown, which is crazy to say that this guy who who's been a champ in the past and has not really hit his prime yet, or his peak yet. That's what surprised me. That's what's crazy to see Rob with so much versatility and growth. So love it. I love to see that Rob is still killing it in this league, and so crazy to think that this is what it takes to be in this middleweight division, because people give a lot of crap that there's not enough guys, and I think Rob and Izzy are the reason why that they're so ahead of their competition that this is why the middleweight seems pretty stagnant. So yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I'm definitely glad that Rob solidified himself. But man, Marvin really disappointed me. I thought he was gonna put I thought he was going to put more pressure and put Rob in a place where he could get knocked out, but Rob just was technical. Rob was more technical, and I was hearing people say, look, the fight that you're going to see this chance of getting knocked out is the Tai fight, which makes sense, no shit, but I just thought, I thought Marvin would be in that same way, he would put a lot of pressure and potentially knock him out and put at least Rob on his, wobbly feet, but nope. Definitely saw a different Robert Whittaker that day, and I think he's just going to keep growing if he continues this way. Because you saw this as well with his fight in Jared Cannonier. You saw this fight with Izzy where he was putting pressure but also being pretty smartly defensive. So Rob ain't no joke, and I think potentially after this fight I can see him beating Pereira. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens, right? But great fight. Sad for Marvin, especially in his hometown. I mean, that's another thing I was gonna say with the Chirioko and Vettori, is that they had a potential to really bring this Italian wave, because they had so much people there. Given that the French card was bringing all these European audiences together for the first time. Man, it really hurt to see. It hurt to see Vettori lose to all those people. He handled it with class. I think Vettori needs to learn. He needs to, how when he lost to Izzy, he didn't really learn from that. So yeah, it's disappointing to say the least. Finally, you have Ciryl Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. Don't know why I can't say that. I think both guys did good. I think Ciryl was the more technical, better fighter, just like the case of Rob versus Vettori. But it was more of a competitive. Even though Vettori and Rob went the full, granted it was only 3 rounds. I think Ciryl showed his league of his own as well. I think same scenario, but Tai had the pressure that Marvin wished he had. He had the chin that Marvin wished he had. Even though Marvin does have a great chin, you can only take so much damage. And I say the same for Tai. Maybe it's just because he's younger and less damage taken. But the way Tai really brought forward and put that damage on Ciryl, like nobody saw Ciryl getting knocked down at all. And he did. He got knocked down. He fought people like Francis. He fought people like Derek. And he never felt that I'm going to get knocked down or that pressure or that scaredness. And to be fair, Ciryl kind of disappointed me where everyone knew that Tai is the type of guy to, you get him hurt and he's just going to come at you tenfold, right? Like he's damaged, he's wobbly, you come at him and that's when you get knocked out, from Greg Hardy to Derek Lewis. So to see him get damaged like that, it made sense, but also Ciryl should have been smarter. And Ciryl then said that one of the hardest hitters that he's ever fought was Tai. So surprisingly, crazy enough, Tai is that guy. I think everyone thinks Francis is the hardest hitter, and maybe he is, but I think Tai knows how to put that precision in there. And I think Francis can put precision, but when he went against Ciryl, there's a reason why he defaulted to being a grappler. So it was interesting. It was interesting to see that Tai fight unfold like that, and I think Tai, his stock didn't go down for me. Like I definitely respect the guy even more now, but Ciryl is that league of his own guy, just like Rob and Izzy are to the middleweights. I think the heavyweights prove that you have to be technical. Like people shit on Francis for the whole grabbing Ciryl during their fight. It's a league of their own, guys. They're there to win. Francis, even though that was boring to just see him pick him up, throw him, which it wasn't to me, but it was technical. It was smart. It was, a few steps ahead of everyone. So I don't know what people expected from Ciryl. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go swing and bang with this guy. Like, come on, what are you, stupid? So yeah, I think he did his best, Tai, and he proved everyone that he wasn't just gonna get kicked to death, right? Like he did get kicked, but he took it, and I think no one expected any of that from him. No one expected that heart from Tai, or not that heart. Everyone knew he has heart, but that precision, because it wasn't just his chin. I think that's where Marvin failed, is that it wasn't just his chin, because eventually that gives out, and you saw that with Marvin. He was on the floor, I think 3rd round, kind of looking down, and that's when Rob started putting power and pressure on him. You didn't see that with Tai. You saw him get hurt, and then you saw a guy move forward still, or when he would land, he would do some pretty good parries or counters. I didn't see that with Marvin, and usually I feel like I do. I feel like with Marvin, I can see some pretty good, smart, precision hits that can knock out any guy. I think that's why Izzy was scared of him. But yeah, it was still crazy to see Tai, and both guys. I didn't want either of them to lose. I love them both. I think they're all great fighters, but it is what it is. It's the fight game. I'm curious to see who Ciryl fights next. I don't expect him to do another Francis card this immediately. I see it soon, but this closely, it's just hard to pin down. But, I guess we'll see, right? I don't know who really is in the division, and to be fair, I don't think Francis is going to fight. I think they're going to strip his title away with his injury. And he's going to go in box, which is fine. Good for him. Do your thing, chicken wing. But yeah, I'm curious to see where people go from there. And I'm going to see what the MMA Guru says, because that guy, he always pins down some great potential fight cards that could happen. So yeah, it is what it is. Well, thank you all. I will see you soon, and new videos every other day. Gabagool.